that doesn't slap down anybody, that holds everybody by the hand, pulls them along with us, even if they want to lie on the couch and watch football, brings them out in the vineyard, and guess what? After the grapes come in, we make wine. That's a good thing. Okay? Better that wine than the other kind of wine. A friend of mine once said, "Stop whining and get off the cross. We need the wood." So we don't want to be that kind of wine. We want to be the good, life-giving, this is my life shared with your life kind of wine. That's what we want to be. That's what we're called to be. So we need to go out and be positive. We need to go out and see people the way God sees them. We need to look in the mirror and see the person God sees. How many of us do that? How many of us look in the mirror and don't see any of the blemishes, don't see any of the gray hair, or in my case, the roots, don't see any of the wrinkles, don't see the double chin I've had for the last 40 years? How many of us don't see that, but see this glow? Do you? Yeah, cool. Right, AJ? Good for you. But see this glow. See this wonderfully made creation. That God said, you know what? It's good. You're good. Do we see that? We need to see that. Some of you who follow some of the crazy stuff I put on Facebook may have noticed this week that somebody wrote to me and told me a good friend of ours had died unexpectedly in New York on Thursday. She was very significant to us. She preached at our Holy Union, and she helped me do my coming out work, and she was our friend. And we don't know at this point what really happened, and it doesn't really matter, because she's dancing away somewhere, and we're happy about that. So many people are sad. And last night, somebody else posted, another nun friend of mine that I used to live with, and she just posted, she said, here's one of the last speaking engagements that was recorded that Sister Ann Bryant Smolin ever gave. And it was an hour and a half long. And I watched it last night, and I want to share with you how we might be the rainbow in somebody else's cloud. Because if there's one thing Ann ever was, it was always the rainbow in somebody else's cloud. And here's what I got to say. I listened to it for an hour and 25 minutes plus. And what I discovered was, A, we tell the same stories. B, we always lose our place when we have notes and we can't find a story when we're looking for the story. C, we're not necessarily the best speaker in the world, but we've got energy and a message that says, we are loved. Get on with the call to love. That's the message. And she's all about not being stressed. So I thought it was really neat. We talked about stress earlier. But here are some of the things that I picked up from what I saw last night. We're always looking for big things. We don't need big things. Did anybody, you young people, you're still looking for them. We get that, okay? You don't have to raise your hands. But the rest of us, how many of us know we are not the biggest fish in the sea at this point in our life? Do we know that? The little people, you don't raise your hands. No, you leave your hands down, okay? We're not the biggest fish. Although I'm getting bigger. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with this. But anyway, what she says is focus on the little things that open us up to God and to one another. And you know what her example was? Smiling at people. Holding the door open for somebody else. She talked about visiting her mother in a nursing home when her mother had broken her hip. And she said, there was a woman there, and her name was Ida, and someone had sent her a valentine. But she couldn't see well, so she asked me to read it to her. And it was 2 sentences. And the 2 sentences, I don't remember them exactly, were something like, we miss you, and we love you, and always will. 2 sentences on this valentine. And then Ann said she watched the woman for the rest of the day carry that valentine around the building from person to person, glowing because somebody had taken the time, the little bit of time it takes to write 2 sentences. Okay? It's the little things. We bless each other in the little things, she says. And she says we have to make a conscious decision to be with people who give us positive energy. So that's why I'm turning all of the negative energy that's anywhere near me into positive energy, and you're doing the same thing. Everybody's doing that today, okay? She made everybody in the room smile. And you had to smile and show your teeth. So I'm not going to make you do that, because I don't think Al can. Oh, wait, he is. Oh, look, he was. He actually does. Look at that. I didn't know he could do that. The other thing she talks about is the boomerang principle. And she said the boomerang principle means just what it sounds like. Whatever you give away comes back to you. You'll all talk about karma in a nasty way some days. Oh yeah, karma's going to come back and bite him, you know where. I've heard you. But that's not what she's talking about. What do you want to come back to you? What do you want to come back to you? Do you want the whiny, get off the cross, we need the wood thing to come back to you? Or do you want the love of God that's been given to you so generously? Without any kind of condition, without any kind of boundary. You got so much of it, it's just flowing out of you. What do you want? That's the boomerang. It's up to us what we throw. It's up to us what we throw. Okay. The other thing I love about Anne is she used to tell stories. And I'm telling you, I had to look for a couple stories that were different from mine, but I could only find one. In an hour and 25 minutes, I found one story that I hadn't already told you guys. So I'm thinking, whose stories are these? You know, my stories or her stories? Or, you know, where did we get them from? She tells the story about the little boy who wanted to play baseball, but there was no one there to play. There was no one else to pitch to him. So he decides he's going to pitch to himself. So he throws the ball up in the air and he swings and he misses. Just strike one. Throws the ball in the air and he swings and he misses. He goes strike two. He throws the ball in the air a third time. And he takes the ball up at it and he misses and he goes, wow, what a pitcher. Right? Right? What a pitcher. The other one, I've told this story, and this one I'm telling for Anne, because I want her to remember it, because of where she is and what her journey is right now. And it's a story about a woman who's coming near the end of her life. Now, Anne was a Catholic nun, is, whatever she was. A Catholic nun, okay? She and I were in the same community for a number of years, until I saw the light. And she saw a better one, but no. So she made the story a Catholic story, but that's not the way I tell the story, okay? So just know, she talked about a priest, and I don't even know what that is anymore. Okay, so this woman is nearing the end of her life, and she calls the pastor in, because that could be a priest or someone else, and says, these are the arrangements I want to make. These are the songs I want. These are the readings I want. This is the Bible I want to be buried with me, and this is the fork I want to be buried with me. And the pastor says, fork? And she says, yes. She said, don't you remember, have you heard this one? Don't you remember, whenever we have a family dinner, okay, that's Cass' version, that, you know, people, when they were starting to clean up after the main entree, the main part of the meal, they'd say, keep your fork for the desserts, okay? So she says, so I always held on to my fork because I knew something better was coming. I want to be buried with my fork because I know something better is coming. See, that's what we need to do. So Anne, I hope you got your fork, girl. Because you are just having a ball up there. And I just told a whole bunch of things about you that nobody knew. Especially about how confused you get when you start talking and you lose your place. So we're talking about vineyards and rainbows today. And we're not just talking about it. We're looking at the bright side of the vineyard. Not the wine, but the wine. Right? And the rainbow. Because you've been given the rainbow. You've been given the promise of God's faithfulness. And you have the rainbow as your boomerang so you can be the rainbow in somebody else's cloud. So that's what we're going to do. And quite honestly, when I go to hospitality of extravagant welcome later today, I'm holding on to my fork because I know there's something better coming. I know there's something better coming.